Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Reader's Magnet featured author interview, where we dive deep into the world of creativity and inspiration. And again, our guest for today is the author of the book, Pretty Black, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. So without further ado, please help me welcome Yolanda Pittman Hill. So Yolanda, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm great. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great as well. Thank you very much for asking. And
Awesome.
Linda, again, just want to say welcome to the Hive, and it's such a pleasure to have you and talk to you right now, talking more about your book as well, Pretty Black. So, Yolanda, to all of our viewers and to all of you people who want to know, though, could you please give us a quick introduction of who you are and keeps you busy as well, since you are a writer as of this moment
Wow.
right here.
Again, Yolanda Hill, Yolanda Pittman Hill, so that my classmates can find me. And the things that keep me busy are that I'm a wife of 42 years and
Hmm,
a mother of three and a grandmother of almost five. The fifth one will be
wow.
here next week. And I love my family. My husband is a pastor, so I work as
Hmm,
a church administrator and helping in those areas because that's my gift is administration.
hmm.
And I just love doing what I do in writing. In all of that, I just kind of find time to write, and inspiration will come to me and then I'll sit down and I'll write. I may write a sentence, a quick passage, and then I kind of wait until I get some quiet time.
Well, I love that. And talking about, and you're telling me that you're a wife for 40 years and you don't look a day old with that. And I was thinking like you're around your early 20s or whatnot. You're like,
Ah, thank
hey,
you. Thank you so
not
much.
flattering though, but you are a beautiful woman. And I got
Oh,
to tell you,
thank
your
you.
husband is a very lucky guy as well.
Oh,
So,
thank you so much.
Yolanda, one more thing, because again, talking about your book, Pretty Black, can you tell us what this book is all about as well?
So this book basically is about my long, I call it journey. It's a
Hmm,
long journey of healing,
hmm,
actually, and going through the healing process of father-daughter abandonment and going through issues of childhood abuse.
hmm.
And unfortunately, looking for love in the wrong places, and ended up with an abortion story. And so, so that's what my book is about. It took a long time for me to decide that I wanted to write the book
Hmm.
over 20 years. Just like I said, my husband is a pastor, so it took over multiple years of marrying at a young age, and then just kind of going through personally with him, what the things that I had, traumatic events that I had gone through, and realizing that I needed to get some help.
Wow. Wow. And talking
Mhm.
more about book, and again, we're talking about life struggles that, again, I do understand where you're coming from though, like trying to find that healing in wrong places, wrong time,
Mhm.
trying to discover on things that might work for you. And that is really not something that people can brush off like, hey, it's easy for me to move on with these things. And it's just not that easy. And
No.
a lot of people think like, hey, you can just laugh about it or just be happy or try to find a way on your own. But it's not that easy.
It's
And
not easy.
it's really not. And yeah, I
No.
do. And I gotta tell you though, knowing this story about your book as well, so knowing where you are as of this moment is something that a lot of people can pull up and get inspiration from.
Mhm.
And you putting this into a book where people can read and get their inspiration and get that motivation that they need in their life. But Yolanda, you told us earlier that it took you a while to get this book running. So when did you first discover your passion for writing then?
So I
Mhm,
actually just discovered it just through sitting down, like I said, journaling,
mhm.
oh, this is how I feel today about a certain thing. Also, setbacks, memories. That would be memories that would pop up. And I'd wonder, why did I think about that today, whether it be a good memory or a bad memory. And then as I wrote them, I noticed there was a pattern, that was kind of
Okay.
forming. And I would talk to my husband about it, and then other trusted friends as well. And I realized that it was forming into a story.
Oh.
And so my husband helped me to just kind of categorize it into table of contents. And then I just went from there.
Love that, love that. And talking about some from writing things down on your typical day, and then trying to see that it's or again coming back with the forming a pattern, it turned out to a story. And talking about this book as well, Yolanda, what was something that was unexpected that you learned while writing your book then?
So something that was unexpected that I learned in the writing process, I think I thought
Hmm.
about in the publishing process, but in the writing process,
Hmm.
um, I learned that there were patterns to um, my family trauma. That's what I
Oh.
learned. So, in being displaced or separated from my biological father,
Hmm.
there were a lot of things I didn't know about him. And so, when his mother was passing, then that's when the family called us back and was like, hey, you need to come back to, your grandmother and come and see her. She's on her deathbed. And so, just from that, we began to reconcile and
Hmm.
well, I wouldn't say reconcile then,
Okay.
like, reconnecting,
Reconnecting. That's better.
with my father, and then just kind of looking at him and seeing why did he disconnect from us. And then I was able to see some patterns in my own children, things that they meant some mental health, say like
Hmm.
anxiety and depression, things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. So once I reached back, I said reached back and really saw it and accepted that this is
Hmm.
something that's going on in my family, then I was able to help, like, go forward and help my own children and myself.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I love that. And talking about because again, Lando, talking about this book as well, and then mentioning writing about your family, and we're talking about real people here that are part of the book here. This is just one question that from my head here. So, do you? Because again, talking about anxiety, mental health. So, do you find that writing characters based on real people offer any therapeutic benefits then? Like, it's something better. Do you write that about them or what?
Do I feel, say that one more time,
Sorry.
that
It's a writing down about real people. Because talking about people in your life, writing them down in a book, does it
Mhm.
offer any therapeutic benefits? Or
Oh yes,
yeah. Oh.
most definitely. Writing about, like, the first chapter I just wrote about my mother,
Hmm.
and how I felt about my mother, in that even though some decisions were made in my abortion story, were
Hmm.
made by her, it still helped me to understand who she was and how she grew up, and some decisions that were made, probably in her family.
Hmm.
I would say very much so. It was therapeutic for me to understand my mother and my father.
Love that. And thinking because right now, as I'm processing this information as well, it's more of like when you try, if you see on a surface level of certain people in your life, you see them as the singular person, like this is the person who did this,
Mhm.
this, and he did that. But when yeah, I think getting the sense of it, like when you write them down, you want to know why they became these people in your life and
Mhm.
how they came to be, what
Yeah,
was their past, and
yeah,
yeah, I think I could really see that
yeah.
writing them
Because
down.
I was just writing about my
Mm-hmm.
story and how
Mm-hmm.
I felt, and
Mm-hmm.
then once I wrote down what my feeling was for that day, then I was able to ask the why questions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
okay, this happened with me, but why did they make that decision? And it kind of like jumping forward. My toward the end of the book, after my mother passed away, I was able to talk to my dad and ask him some of those why questions. Why did you leave? Why did you not even come back and have, fellowship and relationship with us? And then he was
Mm.
able to answer those questions. After that, it was like, yes, you did some terrible things with our family, but we chose to love him and forgive him, my siblings and I. And he passed at 94 years old
Mm.
last November.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to honor him and be honest at his funeral. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
we didn't tell all the fluffy, cute stories. We
Yes.
were honest, and because our cousins were there, they knew what happened.
Yeah, and I really love it because it also points down on it also points down on the story as well that asking these why questions gives you a form of closure as well. Like
Yes.
because these things would, again, talking about anxiety, which you mentioned earlier, because these questions that are not really answered really goes down to the point like you'll keep on asking, is it something wrong with you? Or
Hmm.
was it, yeah, is it something wrong with me? Like, am
Exactly.
I the problem?
Yes.
But, and asking, but all of these details as well. Just want to know, Yolanda, because if this is something that I'll be reading, I'll be picking up your book. Would I be knowing the process before you ask these why questions to your father? Will I
Uh-huh.
be figuring that out then?
Yes, you
Oh,
will. Like,
mm.
my father even read the book.
Oh,
My mother did not get the opportunity to read
hmm,
it because she passed away in December of 2020 during
hmm,
the COVID time, and but she was a great inspiration to me for writing. And she, when I would go and take care of her, I was one of her primary caregivers, and she would just ask me, how are you doing with your writing? And if I had a snag, if I was feeling, really bad about something that day, something
hmm,
that I remembered, she was a faithful, woman of faith. And she
hmm.
would just pray with me, lead me in scripture, and then just kind of scoop me out the door. Like, you got this. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I really love that, and it has this uplifting vibe when it comes to the story as well, and knowing that how the process came. Again, having your mother as an inspiration of how this all started, but having these people in your life, making them an inspiration. Uh, I'm sorry if ever this question might be too uncomfortable, but I just want to ask this question, especially when you were writing your book, like uh, throughout the whole process, like which part of writing your book did you really find the most challenging then?
Uh-huh.
Mm,
So I would say two things. It was most challenging to write my abortion stories
hmm.
because there were two. So
Sorry to
it
hear.
was challenging to write those and to relive those, and then to there were some things that I did not remember. That may sound odd, but there were
Mm,
some things that I did not remember. So I don't know if I blocked them. I don't know if it never happened about the story. But when you go through healing seminars or Bible studies, and they say, what was the room like, and
mhm,
was there a certain sound or a certain smell? So
mm,
I tried to recall some of those things, but I couldn't recall everything. So that was difficult. And then the ending was difficult because
mm,
I had not at that time reconciled with my father or my stepfather. And
mm.
so I didn't know how to end the book. So after I wrote the abortion stories, I was like, cool, I got through that. And then I was just like, how do I end this? Well,
Okay.
why would you just end it on a sad, sour note, so to speak?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to leave the reader with something that was inspiring and encouraging. Like, she got through that, I can get through this.
Love that. Love it. And
Mhm.
again, wrapping up the book though, making sure that your readers can have at least something positive at the end, instead of seeing it on a sad note, trying to make sure that you can give your readers that positive reinforcement with
Mhm.
that good ending. Which is,
Mhm.
if ever these people, to all of you who are watching now, if you want to know that ending, you better grab a copy of this book. Though, and that's one thing I can really tell you, though. But before you grab a copy, and to all of our viewers who are planning to grab a copy, Yolanda, as the author itself, I just want to ask you one more thing before we end this interview and wrap this up. What are the main takeaways that you want your future readers and your readers alike to get from your book once they read this?
Yeah, just like I say, the highlights of my story, from fatherhood, abandonment, to like I say, reconciliation. I was reconciled to my father, from the abortion. I'm sorry, the abuse story, to
Hmm,
feeling restored and healed. And
hmm,
from the abortion story to redemption, and feeling like I was not damaged goods. I was not, I was not a castaway. That God still loves me, and He loves anyone that may be in whatever situation that they're in, that they're having a challenge with. And the one thing I want to also say is about Pretty Black is, Pretty Black is not about a facial feature. It's not
hmm.
about a body form. It's about you understanding and realizing, and I'm trying to say this without crying, who you really are in Christ Jesus. That's really what it is. Once you, because I sing, and I not only do I write, but I sing. And so I remember comparing myself as a teenager to others, songstress that were my age, and to me, they sung like really, really, more dynamic than I did. And I would compare myself to them. And so, and I was also had also already gone through these issues of abandonment and abuse. And my cousins just started calling me Pretty Black. And they had no idea. They lived right next door to me. You'll see that in the book. And they had no idea what was going on in my home. And I walked out of the house one Saturday and they said, Pretty. Oh, she's so pretty. But you know what that did? It wasn't about a face. It was about Yolanda. They see something in you that you're looking at the bad stuff, but they see your worth. They see your value. And it just made me not worry about my skin tone, not worry about what I've been through, not worry about looking for love with, boyfriend or whatever. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That's who I am. And you better get with the program.
Love that. Okay. Again, so, again, just as we come to the end of today's conversation, just want to say this, Yolanda, thank you for being brave and joining us today and sharing your thoughts and insights. And if I can say though, you are really an awe-inspiring woman, and a lot of people should really see and read and know who you are. And if that is what it takes to get this book out, again, to all of our viewers, again, to all of our people though, if also book lovers though, again, be sure to grab a copy of Yolanda Hill's book. Again, that is Pretty Black. It's available through Amazon, Barnes & Noble. So try to grab a copy though. And also, Yolanda, if ever people can want to get some updates from you, is there a way for them to see maybe like future events or something future that when it comes with your book?
I have a Facebook and an IG page. So we'll make sure that you get that information. But I have a Facebook page. It's under Yolanda Pittman Hill, but in parentheses it'll say Pretty Black, or if you dial up Pretty Black, then Yolanda Pittman Hill. Yeah.
Love that. Okay. So again, be sure to follow though, and if ever you want to get some updates and see on how beautiful this woman is right now. Again, thinking about it, because this is how I'm thinking about the story, from how hard it is when you started everything out, and who you are right now is not an easy journey.
No, it's not.
It's not really an easy journey. And this journey, if there's one thing I can say as well, this journey of who you are right now is something really beautiful that this story should be told to the whole world.
Thank you. Thank you.
And love that.
God bless you.
God bless you, Yolanda. And again, to all of our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. And always remember that every ending is just a new beginning in the world of stories. May your reading adventures be endless and your imagination boundless. And as we say here at Reader's Magnet, we share your stories with the world. Thank you and have a good one. Thanks, Yolanda.
Bye-bye.
Bye.